Rais William Ruto akiongelea kuhusu Uhuru Kenyatta na mpango wake wa kuunda serikali ya upinzani. Nimejaribu kumtafuta akuje kwa mpango wangu wa 2060 lakini anakataa. Mimi nampongeza Raila Odinga, alikuwa ni mtu wa kusaidia. Nimejaribu kwenda kwake Ishaweri lakini bado amekataa kunisikia.
My predecessor had an option, to become a statesman and rise above politics and, become a unifying, factor in a country. But he chose to climb down and become an opposition leader. Because in your own statement, in your own headline, is the chairperson of Azimio up to now. This is the chairperson of party leader of, and he's busy with this. What you people wrote. He's busy organizing the opposition against me. Of course, I have tried to persuade him, because I thought, as my former boss, I tried to, persuade him that maybe he could play a different role. In fact, I remember when I was thinking, about how to take Kenya to the next level, I went and sat down with the former Prime Minister. And I told him, you see, we are now the elders, we are the leaders of this nation. Why don't we work together, grow a bigger vision for Kenya, that then, we can hand over to the next generation of leaders. And the former Prime Minister was I must say, I must give him credit. He was up to it. In fact, he immediately told me, look, I am going to look for Professor Hino. But I agreed with the former Prime Minister that it is important that we look for the former president. And I went out of my way, I looked for him. I went and saw him first in Ichaweri. I also came and saw him in his office here. And then I talked to him to persuade him that, look, as a former head of state, the only one living now, please help us to, forge, a new, vision for the country. But he was reluctant, and he said he wasn't sure he wanted to do that. Well, those are choices people make. So, of course, he chose to do what he's doing, organizing the opposition and sponsoring them. And even in your own, assessment, these people in the opposition, do they look that they have any idea of where they are going? In your estimation, can you explain how people who are supposed to be intelligent have no plan? They have no vision. They have no agenda. If you ask this one, he says, oh, I want to abolish Shah. Do you have an alternative? They cannot tell you. Another one there is saying, we want to abolish housing. We want these houses to be broken down, or maybe, I don't know, done what. Do you have an alternative? What about the Constitution? The Constitution talks about housing. What about that?
Yep,
another one here, you listen to another one. Is the only argument he has against housing is that chicken, I don't know, cannot climb the stairs. Now, let me ask you. Looking at those people, do they look like don't they look sponsored? Don't they look hired? Don't they look like stooges of somebody, and they are puppets. Because how do you explain people who are supposed to be reasonable, intelligent, lawyers, they've all of a sudden, they cannot even, the kind of reasoning. I heard one of them when he was asked about, he said, my first is to come and abolish Shah. Why? Oh, the cost of dying has gone up. Really? I mean, this is...
Thank you for watching. Kindly don't forget to subscribe and share.